Either it's Wednesday, March 19th. I'm Rick, and coincidentally, it's my birthday. Although, no big celebration, honestly, at my age. I'm just happy I'm here. That's the celebration. Yay, I'm alive. So, I wanted to talk a little bit about the electric state. Not really so much the budget, not some of the other stuff you've been reading. I'm want to talk really about how Netflix rolled this thing out. Now, it's a little early still to have an accurate feel for what it's going to do viewing wise. But I think it's clear enough, at least at this point, that the Electric State is going to be a bit of a disappointment for Netflix. I mean, honestly, it cost 320 million. Apparently, at least that's what's being reported. At that level, it's even breaking even, given the way that Netflix values things and all the things that they combine together for valuation. It was going to be really hard for them to even sort of hit a break even level unless it was getting sort of red notice numbers, and it's not. Um, but there are a couple of problems that led to this I guess weak number viewing numbers is a way to describe it, probably most accurately. And they're sort of tied in together. One of which is that um, Netflix spent a lot of marketing money promoting this movie ahead of time. Matter of fact, they promoted, hey, we've got all this experiential stuff. We're doing this pop-up, we're doing that pop-up, we're doing this marketing tie-in, blah, blah, blah. It's getting it out there. And that's one of the ways that Netflix considers that is adding, quote, value is by all the free publicity it's getting for the Electric State and also for Netflix. And they were out there everywhere. I mean, they did all different kinds of things. Then they ended up doing fan screenings that they sent this more Millie Bobby Brown around to do some promotion. But at the end of the day, I don't think that most people knew what the movie was about because none of that stuff really addressed that. It was like, oh, hey, this movie's coming up. Make sure you watch it. Well, why? And that was an issue because you know, number one, if you've read the movie, the book that the movie's based on, you're probably not going to like the movie because honestly, that's almost always the case. If you love a book, you see the movie and you think, it's not really what I imagined. And number two, if you haven't read the book, you have no freaking clue what the movie is about. Something about robots and the end of the world. I don't know, something like a lot of action, I guess. None of that was addressed in the promotion. It topped on to that because of the way that the movie was rolled out in screenings, Netflix decided to let critics review the movie, publish the reviews about a week out from the premiere on Netflix. There were a lot of bad reviews. Now, Netflix will tell you reviews don't matter, but if you're interested in watching the movie, you're thinking maybe I should watch this when it comes out, and you see bad review after bad review after bad review, that's going to have an impact on whether or not you jump right in and watch it first thing. And to be fair, some of the reviews weren't bad per se. It was just, this is sort of a mediocre effort. It's okay. Watch it if you want. Don't watch it if you want. Now, honestly, this is the kind of movie that's my sweet spot. I mean, you're looking at someone who watched Battleship like 6 times, right? And Battleship is not a great movie, but it's got a lot of big dumb action, and that's sort of what I like. The problem with Electric State is it's big and dumb action, but the script, honestly, and I have no idea if how closely the script matched what ended up on the screen, but it's about 15 or 20% off of where it needs to be. If you're going to fall into one of these big dumb action movies, right, and you get yourself caught up with it, you want it to have some internal coherence, even if there's no, even if it makes no sense, as long as it makes sense inside the aspect of the movie, then that's fine. As a viewer, you get caught up in it, you just let yourself get drugged through the 2 hours of the movie, you're happy. But there are all these moments in Electric State that would poor dialogue, really bad dialogue in some cases. Very, very predictable plot twist. I mean, the little tease at the end of the movie, honestly, you could have seen that coming like a freight train at night. I mean, you knew what that last shot was going to be. Um, and that's really the part of the problem with the movie. And I have no idea what led to that. I don't know if it was editing issues, if it was original script issues, but I honestly think it could have been improved a lot. And I don't usually like to say that because ultimately I feel like whatever's on the screen is what you should be reviewing. I really have deep belief in that. But in this case, I think that's one of the things that impacted how many people are watching it and the sort of the disappointing numbers they got. Now, it's I'm trying to be not to be overly critical here. Um, there are a lot of people out there criticizing the movie for reasons that don't matter, right? Theatrical release or not, that doesn't matter. How much it costs ultimately really shouldn't matter. If you're out there, you're particularly see this for movie critics who argue that audiences don't respond to original stuff, and so studios are afraid to do it, and studios should be spending more money on quote original stuff. And yes, I know if it's based on a book, it's not quote original, but stuff that movie fans haven't probably heard of. They want studios to spend more money on that stuff. And in this case, Netflix did, and it didn't work out. But they should be out there saying, "Hey, good for you, Netflix. You spent the money, you gave it a shot. Let's do this again. Maybe not at 320 million, but let's try this again." Instead, there's all this weird whining about, they spent too much money and they could have spent this money on 10, $30 million movies. Well, you can make that argument for any of the last three or four Marvel movies too, right? They would have been better off spending it on a half a dozen cheaper movies, but they didn't because there's an upside that they wanted to take advantage of. And it's the same with Netflix, all right? They didn't because there was an upside they wanted to take advantage of. Now, granted, the upside wasn't as much as they thought it was going to be, but still, you should really be out there promoting and supporting the fact that they took the shot. Like I said, I won't say I'm disappointed by the movie. It could have been so much better. It could have really been interesting. And just one last thing. I understand why Chris Pratt's in the movie, right? I mean, he's a recognizable name. Netflix has done really well promoting movies with, recognizable names because that's one of the things that an audience will decide whether or not they're going to click into a movie. Yeah, that's why you see these level B and C movies with recognizable names doing well on Netflix because someone will go, "Oh, I've never heard this movie, but it's got Donnie Wahlberg in it. Okay, well, let me give it a shot." It's the same way with this. I mean, people are going to tune into it because it's Chris Pratt. Although, to be fair, it's Chris Pratt with the wacky hair. I don't know why he does this. He does a lot of movies where I, I guess you're supposed to not recognize Chris Pratt. You look at the guy and go, "Oh, he looks familiar. I just can't figure out why." But no, it's really, you look at him and say, "Oh, it's Chris Pratt with a really crappy hair." And that's sort of the situation here. He's got a really insane haircut. Yeah, I it's one of those things if I was an executive at Netflix, I might have given some notes about, you know, note to self, what the hell's going on with Chris Pratt's hair? Uh, but once again, not my call. Anyhow, that the Electric State, I think, is going to be a disappointment for Netflix. Maybe not what they were hoping for. Could have been so much more. And that's really the point of this video. Could have been so much more. And with that happy note, I will talk to you tomorrow.